Welcome, everyone. We are so thrilled that you are here today. My name is Jessica Pierce, and I'm the CEO and founder of Career Connectors, and you are in the right place at the right time. So already many of you have been introducing yourselves, and so if you could open the chat and make sure you're introducing yourself, let us know where you're joining us from and what industry that you are interested in. Also, you should have your name in your name showing as well, so we know who you are as we're responding to your messages and as you're asking questions. So the way that you can change your name is you just go over your picture. You should see your picture. Go to the right. There are 3 dots. If you click those 3 dots, there's a drop down and one of them says rename. So you can rename yourself right there and make sure you at least have your first name so we know who we're talking to if we're responding to your messages. So welcome. What I'd like to start with today is just doing a little introduction of Career Connectors, and then I have a couple questions for you before we get started. So first of all, we are all about community here. And the reason we're about community is because we know that a great career helps bring about great communities. And so that's what we're about, elevating communities by empowering people that are looking for jobs, employers and service providers, and all working together so we can build out these strong communities. So that is why we're here today, to provide you great content, information, resources, and hope so that you can find a fantastic position in what you're looking for. So what I'd like you to do, thank you for answering the questions in the chat. What I'd like you to do is everybody open the chat. It's at the bottom of your screen. Click on the chat icon, open that up. And if you are actively looking for a job, if you are you're in career transition or you're thinking about looking for a new job, can you just drop a number 1 in the chat so we can get a sense? Thank you. Yes, so we can get a sense of who here is actively searching for a job. Thank you. Awesome. Great. So you all are in the right place at the right time. If you are a service provider, if you're an employer, a volunteer, a community partner, can you drop a 2 in the chat so we can get a sense of who's here and who is supporting all of the people in career transition right now? Great, thank you. So drop a 2 if you're an employer, an educator, a corporate partner, a community partner, or a volunteer, and we can see who those people are. Awesome, thank you. If you did drop a 2, you are welcome to drop in the chat, what your expertise is. If you're a nonprofit, what you do for the community. If you're a volunteer, why are you here today? What are you doing to volunteer to serve? We have some great resume writers, LinkedIn coaches, all on the line. So feel free to drop, if you're an employer or a corporate partner, feel free to drop that information in the chat as well. Okay, so I want to talk about the display for just a minute. So if you, the best way to view this event today is in what's called speaker view. In speaker view, you will get the PowerPoint showing, and you'll also get a picture, a video of the speaker. So you can see both. And that is called speaker view. So if you're on your computer, the top right corner says, there's a drop down that says view. If you go to view, you can see side-by-side speaker. So side-by-side speaker view is really your best view for this event today. And then after you hear from Amanda and you hear from Robert, the last hour of our program is breakout sessions. So make sure you stay to the breakout sessions, because you're going to be able to go into these different breakout rooms and talk and ask questions to the speakers that are here today, to all the volunteers that are here today. And you can see there are some volunteers that are responding what they do, but we have LinkedIn coaches, career coaches, finance coaches, and more for during the breakout session. So we ask everyone to stay muted during this portion of the call, but then when we go into the breakout sessions, you all get a chance to unmute and have a conversation in those. Also, we have closed captioning available. And so if you would like captions to show, just on the bottom of your screen, hit the show captions icon. And if you hit show captions, then you'll get the transcription of this call. Now, we do not send out the PowerPoint for this call, but we do post the entire webinar up on our website. And usually sometimes it takes until the next morning. It just depends how long it takes for it to process. But we will have this entire webinar posted on our website. You all will get an email tomorrow, this afternoon, that will include a link directly back to the webinar, as well as a whole bunch of other resources as well. So look for that email. And if you're following us on social media, I really hope you are, because we are doing a big giveaway out on Instagram. So if you're on Instagram, go follow us out on Instagram. We're doing a $100 Amazon gift card giveaway because we're working on building out our Instagram. But we're doing a whole 2-week series right now on LinkedIn. So some of this content that Amanda will be talking about will be posted in this 2-week series. So I encourage you to follow us, whether it's on LinkedIn, Instagram, or Facebook. But then if you follow us on Instagram, you also have a chance to win that giveaway. All right. Also, one of the things I'm going to encourage every one of you to do, in case you just did it, is if you could drop your LinkedIn URL into the chat. Now, Amanda's going to talk about why and LinkedIn and all this stuff today, but I encourage you to drop your LinkedIn URL in the chat, make it blue and clickable, and I'm going to give you those instructions. Make it blue and clickable. That way we can click on your URL, go out and connect with each other. Now, I just heard about an update that LinkedIn is doing that does not affect everybody yet, but they're rolling it out, where you can only connect with, I think, 10 people a day on LinkedIn. So it might not be possible to connect with everybody, depending on if the update has hit your account yet. I'm going to have to see if it's hit mine. I don't know. But apparently, if you have the paid version, it doesn't apply to you. But if you have the free version, which most of us do, then there is some type of rollout update. Great job, you guys. Great job on updating, putting that out there. The way that you get your blue LinkedIn URL clickable is go out to LinkedIn and go to your profile. Usually you can just click on your picture and it'll take you to your profile. And up in the search bar will be your URL. You can just right click, copy, and paste it into the chat. That should make it blue and clickable. Great job, you guys. I'll drop those instructions also in the chat. The other thing I want you to be aware of today is please ask questions. Again, we're going to ask you to stay muted, but if you could ask questions in the chat. We have a lot of people today that are here and are monitoring the chat and answering questions. And you'll see, I know Donna Tucker is in the room. Antoine is in the room. Both of those, Kitty Carlisle, I saw in the room. Any of them, if they're answering your questions, they're legit. They know what they're talking about. And so they're here to support Amanda, here to support all of you. And they absolutely know what they're talking about. All right, I see some of you have already jumped over to Instagram and are following us out there. So well done, well done. All right, you guys, I am so excited to jump into it and introduce you to our keynote speaker today. And she has been just a wonderful advocate of Career Connectors for many, many years. Amanda Miller is a passionate career advocate and has been supporting job seekers since the 90s. In her current position at Resume and Career Services, she developed and launched a comprehensive training program that educates job seekers about all aspects of their search, from determining what their career goal is to securing and negotiating multiple offers. She's currently writing her first book, Winning Strategies to Navigate Your Job Search, which she plans to publish next year. Amanda loves sharing information with audiences and has presented at Career Connectors previously. She often volunteers her time to review resumes and provide tips on LinkedIn optimization. When she's not working, Amanda enjoys spending time with her family, exercising, hiking, and baking keto goodies. She's also a huge fan of Wonder Woman, The Little Mermaid, and Doctor Who. Please help me welcome our really great friend, Amanda Miller.
Hello, hello, how are you? I'm so happy to see all the chats coming through and people from all over the place. It's so exciting. I want to welcome all of you. I am in Phoenix. I have known Jessica since pretty much the beginning. because of my affiliation with the Resume Writers Council of Arizona, which is now the Resume Writers Coaching Association. So I have been very involved. I love, love, love educating. So this is super exciting for me. I am thrilled to be able to talk about all this fun stuff. I will tell you that, you know, I'm sure you've heard a lot of people say I'm an expert. And I would love to say I'm an expert, but there's always going to be someone who knows a little bit more than I do. I am someone who is passionate about learning. I'm a lifelong learner. I have been using LinkedIn since its inception. I was one of the first people to hop on board, and I've helped tons of job seekers to really optimize their search and get better results because of LinkedIn. And I know some of you, for some of this, it might not seem like, well, you know, I already know that. Okay, well, my goal is that you at least learn one little tidbit. I go to seminars all the time on things that I know, and I always come away with at least one thing that makes the price of admission, which, by the way, here is free, worth it. So I encourage you to kind of settle in. This is what I plan to have us come away with at the end of this presentation. And this is kind of, it's an interactive presentation in that I definitely want you to ask questions, although I probably won't be the one answering them until maybe the breakout session, because it's just too challenging for me to chat and answer. But as Jessica said, there are some really great, knowledgeable people who will be answering your questions. And if you want to talk with me, I will be in a breakout. But what I'd really love for you to do is, if you have the capacity, to even pull up your LinkedIn and play along at home, because you're going to find that a lot of this information is really applicable immediately. I hate it when I go, and I don't want you to go to an event and have somebody tell you some really great information, and then you just let it sit there. So feel free. I can't see you anyway, so I don't know if you're looking at me or you're looking at your computer. So definitely dig in and start doing this work for yourself. Okay, this is the first thing we're going to talk about: completing and optimizing your profile. In order to do that, you have to have a great profile, right? LinkedIn is all about your profile. Your profile is predicated on your resume. So I'm a resume writer and a LinkedIn profile writer, and the two mesh together. But on LinkedIn, on resumes, you're limited. You have one, maybe 2 pages that you can get into. On LinkedIn, you have a lot more space. There is a limit. We'll talk about that, but you have a lot more space. So we're going to go through all of these in our time together. You're going to talk about creating a custom URL, which I'm glad to see a lot of you had when you dropped them in the chat box. Your pictures, completing all your sections, keywords, huge, huge, huge. Keywords are huge. Examples of your work, and you'll see I have fine print. That may not apply to you. If it does, great. If not, just skip over that. What will apply to you are your recommendations. Everybody can get some great recommendations. So it's good to say nice stuff about yourself, but when someone else says nice stuff about you, even better. And then awards, honors, patents, and publications. Okay, first thing, if you are one of those people who didn't have a custom URL, by custom URL, I mean it has your name. Mine is Meet Amanda Miller. You want to have your name. Every site on LinkedIn and on the web has a URL. It's just like every address in the country has a post office, an address, all that stuff. So yours is already assigned to you, but you can make it even better. You can make it your name. So what you have to do is super simple. This is just, you go on your profile. So you click on your picture when you're on LinkedIn. Top right-hand corner, you're going to see Edit Public Profile and URL. You click on that. That's going to open a new page. The same location on that new page, top right-hand corner, you're going to see your URL, and there'll be a little pencil mark. You can only change the end. So it's automatically going to say linkedin.com/in, but then you can put whatever handle you want. Your name is ideal. It used to be that we would try to do like optimization of this, and it found out it really didn't work. Like people would put, like Amanda Miller, content writer, Amanda Miller, resume writer. It doesn't always work that way anymore. So your name is best. If your actual name is not available, try a middle initial, try flipping your first and last names, try adding numbers, or you can do like I have and put Meet in front of it, because Amanda Miller apparently is a common name. You can put I am Amanda Miller, whoever you are. So you can try that. What I encourage you not to do is use numbers that will connote your date of birth or age, because that is just never good. You want to have a professional image and a branded background photo. So remember, LinkedIn is your personal brand, just like your resume is your personal brand. And the first thing that people see when they click on your URL, whether they're doing it here or they're searching for you on LinkedIn or they're searching for someone who has what you have to offer, they're going to see what you see on the screen, your picture, your background. I created this background out of Canva. Canva.com. It's an excellent resource if you're not already aware. It is free. There is a paid version. And by the way, everything I'm telling you today is absolutely free on LinkedIn. You don't have to pay LinkedIn to get any of this stuff to happen for you. You can pay LinkedIn, but that's not what I'm going to encourage you to do today. We can have an offline conversation about whether you want to pay or not. But you want to have a nice background photo. As you can see, this person has her name and she has what she does. So some of her keywords. And then you can put that if you want. You can put a picture of something that's interesting to you. If you've gone someplace or want to go someplace, you could put that. But just keep in mind that this is supporting your brand. You also want to have a nice picture of yourself and only yourself. I see pictures of people with their family or in a group. Those are great pictures for Instagram and Facebook, but for LinkedIn, keep it just yourself, professional. What you might look like if you went to an interview. Be smiling, be excited, no frowny faces. And so you can, like I said, you can look on Canva, Unsplash, or free LinkedIn backgroundphotos.com for background photos. You can find all of those. Once you have those two key things under control, then you need to go through and complete all the sections of your profile. There are a lot, and you'll see that at the beginning, LinkedIn used to have kind of a ranking system. Now it'll tell you it's a percentage complete. It just depends on when you joined, but you want to go with 100% complete. So that means you're going to have a headline, possibly a featured section, your about or summary. It's just called about on LinkedIn. Your job descriptions, including accomplishments, your education, license and certifications, if it applies, volunteer experience, if it applies, skills and endorsements, of course, your accomplishments. I put that in there again, but that's a different section. And then recommendations. So when you're looking at your LinkedIn, use as a base your resume. Your resume is great fodder to start. It can be a complete complement to each other and look exactly the same, but you can also get more narrative in your sharing in LinkedIn. You can use personal pronouns, which we don't really suggest on a resume. You can be more conversational, but what you want to make sure you have is your value proposition. You really want to be able to share with people what it is that you can provide for them in addition to what you've done. It's not just a laundry list of everything you've ever done, just like on a resume. It's the value that you can provide moving forward. And we'll go into some detail with these. So when you are optimizing your profile, you must incorporate keywords. Did I mention must? You have to have keywords on your profile. So I have worked with lots and lots and lots of job seekers in the past. And I've had some people say, you know what? I don't like social media. I don't want to be on LinkedIn. I get it. What I challenge you to do is shift how you think of LinkedIn. Yes, LinkedIn is a social media platform, but start to think of it as what it really is, a powerful search engine that helps recruiters and employers find you. For the most part, people are not looking for you unless they have your resume in front of them or they've met you somewhere. They're looking for the keywords, the people that can do what they're looking to do. And if you don't have those keywords on your profile, I can guarantee you, you are not going to show up. So think about the keywords that need to be important. And I have an example here of a headline because a lot of people just don't understand what that means. So you want to have the title that people will be looking for. So in this example, that person is clearly looking for a vice president of sales. And then we have some other keywords there, revenue generator, people manager, all of those. There's another tactic you can take that has your title, but then it also has how you help people. That's how I've built mine out. Either way is fine, but what you must have is the title. What you don't want to have is, I'm currently looking for work, hashtag open to work. That's not going to help you be found as much as that title, because people are looking for the title that you have. So you want to make sure that those keywords are in your headline, your about or summary section, and your job descriptions, and then of course in your skills and endorsements. And as you can see, and I just see Donna's commenting that yes, you have 220 characters in your headline. So you have lots of space. When you look at it on LinkedIn, it's almost 4 lines. So don't get stuck on like your title on your resume would just say Vice President of Sales. And maybe you'd have a subtitle that has some keywords or a little branding slug. But on LinkedIn, you want to make sure that you have all of that filled in. Definitely leverage as much as you can. As you go down the profile, and that's how we're going to kind of look at this, you'll see the next section is featured. Some people don't leverage featured, but I encourage you to do so. So featured allows you to put up many, although you can only see 3 different things that you've chosen to feature. And this person that I chose, I just randomly picked someone, you can see that they have 2 things that are links and 1 that's a document. So you can put links, you can feature posts that you've had in the past, you can put a document. If you are a job seeker, you may want to put your resume up here. You may want to put links to where you've been. This person was published. Issue is an online publication system. So this person was published. You may want to put podcasts or websites. All of that is usable in that featured section and a really great way to support your brand. Think of this as your portfolio. So if you're like me and you're in your 50s or above, or even your 40s, you may have gone out to your first job interview back in the 90s or 80s or whenever with a briefcase or padfolio, and you had your resume and you had your letters of recommendation and you had your samples of work. You had all of those things with you. You don't need that anymore. You have that on LinkedIn. So leverage that. And then underneath that, you'll see the picture of the fun little oxetol. I can never remember how to pronounce them. This is what you can put under your jobs. So this is from me. I, as a writer, have been published lots of times. So I have a lot of those publications on a job so that people can see the quality of my work. If that applies to you, by all means, share that on your LinkedIn profile. Everybody can secure some great recommendations. They're super easy to request them. You must have a first level connection with that person. So until your first level, you can't go out to someone you don't have a connection with and ask for a recommendation. But once your first level connections with that person, you can go to their profile and you'll see the picture on the left says more. It's right under their name and headline and all that good stuff. You click on more, and then under that will pop up all these options. One of them is request a recommendation. You click on that, LinkedIn is going to push you through some options that you can fill out, and you will request a recommendation from them. You can write it for them if you want to, if they request that, but you cannot post it for them. They have to post it. And once they post it, then you can have, you'll be able to see it before it shows up on your profile, and you can accept it and say, yes, go ahead and post, or you can say, I'd like an edit on this. And I have written a recommendation where someone said, hey, can you move these around? I really want to focus on this more than the other thing. Absolutely. So then I edit it for them. So you can absolutely do that. But these are great to have. Only 2 will show up on your profile, but you can have more than that and people can dig into them. The only thing about these is a lot of stuff on LinkedIn. You have some flexibility to move things around. On your references and recommendations, you do not. So it comes up with the most recent one first, and then it scoots down. The only way you can make another one show up is to hide one, which is a little higher level. I can show that to you in a breakout room. But that is an option if you want something to show up. Then you can add, these are the accomplishments on LinkedIn. The accomplishment on a resume is based on a formula, challenge, action, result. They go under your experience section. But on your LinkedIn profile, the accomplishments break out a little differently. So this is your patents, your honors, your awards, your publications. Your organizations, you can put all of these things into the accomplishment section. It's just another way to make your LinkedIn profile more robust. With these things, you can also add in links. So like the publications that are listed here, this is from my profile, you can link to those publications So it's super cool to have that available on your profile. Again, only if it applies to you. This won't apply to everybody, but if it does, leverage it. Why the heck not, right? Okay, I've seen a lot of questions about this recently. Should you be open to work? And I hesitated about adding this into this presentation, but I thought, what the heck? So historically, I have always said, no, don't be open to work. But the tide is changing. On LinkedIn, you may have noticed a lot of people are now open to work. Unfortunately, it's because of a lot of layoffs and such, but they're letting people know that they are open to work. So what I kind of broke down was why you might want to and why you might not want to. So the times you definitely do not want this banner. Now keep in mind, you can say you're open to work for recruiters only and not show the banner. Always, always do that if you're looking for work. But having the banner show is the question. So you don't want to put it up if you're currently employed and your boss doesn't know you're looking. Because what if they land on your profile and see that you're open to work? Oops, you might now have jeopardized your current job, and we don't want that. So you definitely don't want to do that. But if you've been laid off, if you're currently looking or your employer knows that you're looking, and you want to leverage your network on LinkedIn, then you might want to consider putting on your open to work. The other reason not to, of course, is if you're not regularly on LinkedIn, it's not going to help you much. And hopefully after this conversation, you will be on LinkedIn more. But if you're not really leveraging LinkedIn, then I wouldn't be concerned about it. So this is a personal choice. Again, it is shifting. People are starting to really leverage their network. And I'm seeing some good results out of that on my feed. So you choose whether or not you want to. There are pluses and minuses to both options. So the next thing you want to do is increase your network and expand your personal brand, because it is not Field of Dreams. You build it and people will come, but then they'll stop coming. So you need to really keep engaged with your LinkedIn profile and with LinkedIn as a tool. Remember that you want to have at least 500 direct first level connections. The more connections you have, the larger your network is. So LinkedIn is a series of 3 connections deep. You have, if I'm connected to person A is connected to person B, I can get to them, they're my second connection. Person B is connected to person C, that's my 3rd level connection. Because I grow with 500 people, I don't just get 500 in my network, I get 500 in all of their top 3 level connections. So now I've exponentially grown. Why would you want to do this? 2 reasons. One, it allows more people to see you. That's huge because people are looking for you by keyword. And if they can't get to you because you don't have a broad enough network, you're not going to be found. The second reason is it allows you to be able to reach more people yourself. So you want to be able to leverage LinkedIn personally, you don't just sit there and expect people to come to you. You've got to reach them as well. So you definitely want a larger network, which allows your space to be more open. Some people will be curious, and I've been asked this before, should I be more of an open networker or should I only connect with people I know? Again, this is a personal choice. My choice has always been to connect with pretty much anybody. And the reason I do that is because I think of LinkedIn, as you should, as a networking event. So Jessica asked you at the beginning of this to share your LinkedIn URL. The reason she asked that is because you can grow your network. You can get attached to some very like-minded individuals. Are people going to try to sell you stuff on LinkedIn? Yeah, they are. I guarantee it. You can always disconnect with them, or you can ignore their emails or whatever. But when you connect with them, most people are there to help, and that's going to help you get your network larger. Some options for building your network, in addition to this, which is that last one, those network connections, but colleagues, current and past, employers, also current and past, customers and clients, if that applies to you in your industry, friends and family. Remember, think of it as a networking event. You may not connect with these people on Facebook or Instagram. You might lock those things down, but keep your LinkedIn really open. because recruiters are there. In fact, this is the #1 way that recruiters seek new candidates. So once you've built that network, you need to share your value proposition with it. As you're building your network, you want to make sure that you are adding a note every time you initiate a connection. Don't just send a connection request with nothing involved. If I send you a connection request and I saw you up in chat, I would say, it was great to meet you or see you or whatever, connect with you at the LinkedIn, or excuse me, at the Career Connectors event. And then say, I hope that you'll join my network. You only get 300 characters in your invitation. So you can't put a whole bunch of information in there, but you can at least say why you want to connect with that person or how you met them. And that can be a reason for someone to say yes to you when they go to connect. You can do this on your phone. LinkedIn announced it, I don't know, about a year or two ago, that you could do it on your phone. It's a little trickier to do it on your phone, but when you do it on a laptop or desktop and you click that connect button from someone's profile, it'll have a pop-up, and on that pop-up, it'll say add a note, and you can add that note. Then when you answer connection requests, so you may be getting some from today, share a little bit about yourself. This isn't a sales pitch. This isn't, hey, do you have a job for me? This is kind of what you're looking for. Hey, Sue, it's great to meet you. I'm looking for this position, or I can do this, and this is my talent. Kind of your 30-second commercial, if you will. And you can put that in there. And the same thing happens when they accept your connection request. So in your connection request, you have minimal space, but when you thank them for the connection request, you can then share a little bit about what you do. If you're connecting with people who you think, there's some potential here, you want to level up that game. LinkedIn is not just a social site. It is not just a search engine site. It is a relationship development site. You are there to build relationships with people you can help and who can help you. So if you see someone that you've connected with or you want to connect with and you get connected, then level up to that next thing. If they're local, ask them for coffee, do a Zoom, have a phone call, stay in touch with that person, build those relationships. That's where the magic happens. It's not just in building a mass of numbers. I mean, I have more than 11,000 connections. I don't know all those people, but I post a lot. I talk to them. I definitely connect with them. Okay, so now you want to be known as a thought leader, because this is going to increase your capacity to get more connections, get known, and get a job. You want to be posting on LinkedIn. I am on there all day, every day, because I do a lot of business on LinkedIn. I'm not suggesting that that needs to happen for you. You can most certainly just be on there a couple of times a week. But every time you're on LinkedIn, after you've gotten your profile set, I suggest that you do at least one of these things that I'm going to tell you to do. So one is post. You'll see that I've numbered these things so that you can kind of see what they are. So these are the things that you can post. Images, videos, events, celebrations that you're hiring, which probably won't apply to many of you. A poll. Polls are huge. Boy, people love polls. Ask me a question, I want to answer a question. So polls are really great. And you can ask 3 or 4 things. It's like an overarching question. You give 3 or 4 options for them, and they engage with those. Love polls. So if you are looking to do something like that, it could be something simple. When was the last time you took a vacation? When was the last time you updated your resume? How many networking events do you go to in a week? What do you like to do on the weekends? Anything. Keep it somewhat professional, obviously, but we're, 3-dimensional beings, so certainly you can incorporate other things. And then you can seek an expert. So that would be something like, if you needed a resume writer, a LinkedIn person, you can do that there. These don't have as much of actually, I don't even know what the limit is. Someone else does, you can drop it in the chat. But I don't know that there's really a strong limit on how many characters you can put in your post. And what I'm seeing more and more is long, engaging posts. So don't be afraid to share quite a bit. Don't write a blog. That's the next slide. But definitely, share, ask important questions. When I post things, it could be I posted a lot about this event. I post quotes. I post pictures. I hike a lot. So I usually post a hike picture on Sunday or Monday after I've hiked to let people know what I'm up to, things like that. So anything is open. You can also see above the one on the picture, there's a little smiley face. You can use emojis in your post. Don't get nutty, it's not a text, but you can put emojis in there, and some people really like that. It's kind of fun and engaging. So don't be afraid to get a little more casual. As I mentioned at the beginning, your resume, super professional. Your LinkedIn, it's more of a conversation. It's a little bit more about you as a person. Now, keep in mind, you don't want to say anything that you wouldn't say on the job. No sex, politics, and religion. That should always be your rule, right? Unless, of course, you're, like Jessica is involved with churches. Well, then obviously that makes sense for her to talk about churches and religion. I get that. But if you are not in that industry, don't talk about it. So sex, politics, and religion, unless, of course, it's your industry. So this is about the posts that you can write, an article. An article is essentially a blog that gets posted on LinkedIn. This is gold for becoming a thought leader. And it shares to your network too. So if you're a writer, write about what you like, write about what's interesting to you, write about questions that occur in your industry. Obviously keep it work related, because that's how it's going to differentiate you as a thought leader. If you're not a writer, that's okay. You don't have to do this at all. But another option that you could do is to compile a roundup of articles that are currently trending. My company recently did that. I handed off the social media for Resume and Career Services to our marketing team, and they posted something that had a little blurb about, I guess it was 5 different articles, and put a link to it. Hey, we like this article because blah, blah, blah. It's a great option. At least it shows that you're staying top of mind and aware in your industry. And that's really what you're trying to do with this, is to let people know that you are a thought leader. You always want to review your feed. So everything I've told you up until now pretty much is you going out, right? You're out, you're talking, you're sharing. You want to give, you want to bring stuff in. So go and review your feed. This is a picture of my phone. This is great to do on your phone, because you can just go through while you're waiting for something. You're waiting for the kids in the carpool lane. You're at the dentist office. You can sit here and do this right there. Like, support, comment, share. Those are what's really going to get you seen. And if you remember a little bit ago, I mentioned that your network is 3 deep. Your news feed is 3 deep as well. So when you like or comment on something, the people who are your first level connections will see that you liked or commented on it. So then that goes farther. It has bigger reach. And that's where that open to work is really moving out, because people are sharing their networks open to work things, and it has a broader reach and a broader footprint. So this is super great because it shows that you are engaged. It's not all about you. You're giving back. Definitely spend a little time with this. Again, it doesn't have to be a ton of time. And I have an ebook that I will be more than happy to share with Career Connectors that tells you 15 minutes a day to leverage LinkedIn. And it goes through all of this. So I think that that will be super helpful for you. Okay, this is the stuff you've been waiting for. So you've built a network. You've built your profile. You're starting to engage with the people. Now you're going to accelerate your job search. This is gold, my friends, gold. Okay, turn on your job alert. You may have already done this. A lot of people don't. I don't know why not. You can turn off the news, like the email, if you want to, and you don't get an email. But if you don't get an email, then you want to check your jobs regularly. I always turn it on because I like to see that. I'm not looking for myself. I'm actually looking for someone else. But as I look for those people, like a lot of candidates, I'll run job searches for them. And when I look for them, I can go and send them. I review it. They're not always 100%. But what happens when you look for these jobs is you'll see other things. So you may see, I just picked project manager, and you can see there are 329,000 results, right? I don't limit it to geographic, because a lot of positions are based in Alabama, but I'm in Arizona and I might be able to work there. So it depends on the position, and you always go through them. But what you'll find is that you put in a specific title that you think is the right title, you'll find titles you never even thought of. This job that I have now, I was not looking for this job. I had my own business doing exactly what I do now, and they found me. And it was Candidate Experience Manager. That is my title. I would never have applied for that title. I didn't even know what that meant. I had to ask them when they reached out to me. So that's something that I would not have thought of. I would have thought of maybe, content writer, resume writer. But what I do is perfect for what I actually do. And that title works. So that you might find that's the case for you as well. Then after you apply for jobs, this is where the magic happens. Contact the person who posted the job. Many times you will see that they say it looks just like this. It's just copied from a job description on LinkedIn. It says meet the hiring team. As you'll see, the first one has a little arrow. That means that you can message that person without paying. The second one does not have an arrow, which means that you have to have a premium membership to message them. Don't get dismayed. You do not have to pay. I told you that at the beginning, you do not have to pay. What I want you to do is go to their site. So what you would do is Will Roger, you would click on Will Roger, and then you would send him a connection request. Remember, you have 300 characters to include in your connection request. Hi, Will, I just applied for the position of project manager at your company, and I wanted to introduce myself. I hope that we can connect to stay in touch. I do this. I am running a loved ones campaign right now for a job search. That's who I'm really looking for. And I do this for every single position that the person that he is looking for. And let me just tell you a winning story. And if this doesn't cement it, I don't know what will. 1,000 people applied for this position. And I'm not making up these numbers. 1,000 people applied for this position. That's huge. I saw that it had nobody attached to it, but what I did is I searched for that person. So I went, when you look, if you kind of follow my idea here, I looked at the position, I clicked on the company. The company takes me to the company's website on LinkedIn. Well, as you'll see down at the bottom, it says people. So I go click on people. Then I type in talent. And oh, look, Janet shows up. Did Janet post this job? I don't know. But me reaching out to Janet and saying, hi, I've applied to your position. Guess what happened with this particular loved one? With 1,000 applicants, I reached out to the recruiter by doing this exact same thing. He got a call the next day to talk to them. He got an interview. He went to the next interview. And unfortunately, we just found out that he did not progress forward. But I guarantee you with 1,000 applicants, even if you have an ATS resume, which he did because I wrote it for him, you will not get through. It's very hard. It's a numbers game. This is what is the difference maker. Contacting them. They are recruiters. They expect that you're going to contact them. So reach out to them. And let me just tell you, as an aside, you can do this even if you didn't find the job on LinkedIn. You found the job on Google. You found the job on Indeed. I don't care where you found the job. Go to LinkedIn, look up the company, look up the person who's in talent or HR or even the decision maker who you think might be above this position, and reach out to that person. Reach out to multiple people if you want. This is gold. If you remember nothing else from everything that I've told you, this is what will make a huge, huge underline, bold, giant letters, huge difference in your job search. If you are looking at particular companies, then I definitely want you to turn on your signal with them. This is a really, really new thing that LinkedIn has launched. And this is from one of our social media posts that our lovely marketing team did at Resume and Career Services. But you can do it on your phone or on the website. and follow these little directions. You go to the company page, like I just showed you to do before. Then you go to the About or Life tabs. You'll see a little button that says, I'm interested in working with you. You click on I'm interested, and that lets them know privately that you are interested in working with them. Yay. Hey, now the recruiters know to look for you. This isn't a guarantee, obviously nothing is, but it lets them be, you're on their radar now. They now know that you are interested in this position and this company, and they might be more likely to reach out to you if they have something. But of course, it all starts with having that great profile. That is what I have for you. I am going to open up the chat and see, and if anybody like Joey or Bree, if you saw any questions that you would like me to answer, I would be happy to do so.
Amanda, this
Yeah.
has been so good. Oh my gosh. So one of the questions I thought was really interesting that dropped in the chat was around how many accounts should you have? So some people have, maybe a side gig or a full business, but they're also looking for a job. What's your take on a separate personal account compared to a business account?
So there are business pages, so that let's just get nomenclature out of the way. There's a business profile. So like Resume and Career Services has a business page. Then I have my profile. So those are two different things, page and profile. You can have more than one profile. You can have it in different languages. I worked with one client who speaks Portuguese. He has a Portuguese profile and an English profile. You can do that as well. You can have two different profiles, but it gets really challenging because they don't interlock. And so what happens is you're doing double work. You're building all the people on this one, you're building all the people on that one. So if you're looking for various different things or you have a side hustle, as long as your boss is okay with it and it doesn't compete with it, like I have a side hustle too. Like I write blogs, right? And I have that in there that I can write blogs, but my major focus on LinkedIn is what I do full time. So you can do that, but it's up to you how you choose to do it. If you do decide to do two profiles, again, you can. You'd have to have two different emails for them. So you want to make sure that you have that information delineated. If you do it that way, it's more work. And then if you don't do it that way, just optimize your profile for both of those different things.
Awesome. What about keywords? Can you talk a little bit about more of that? Where should people be incorporating their keywords? Could you just speak on that a little bit more?
Of course. So I backed it up because somebody asked me if I could back up the slide. So that's why I did that. So with keywords, remember that this is like a search engine. So LinkedIn is a search engine, very much more than Facebook is. You definitely want to have your keywords there. So keywords are huge, huge, huge. When you build, like if you've ever worked on a website, there are keywords, and that's how you find them on Google. I can almost guarantee you for the vast majority of people who are here, including myself, if you put your name into Google, the first thing that will show up, one of the first three will be your LinkedIn profile, just based on your name. But what happens is when people go to LinkedIn, unless they know you, they're not looking for you on your name. They're looking for you based on keywords. So you want to make sure that those keywords are involved in your profile. Three major places to put them. One is in your headline. So that's the title you're looking for. Two is in your about section. So make sure you have them. It's super easy to do. You can just put, just like you'd have on your resume, your keywords, you just say talent areas and you have all your keywords there. And the third is in ideally all of your experience, but mostly your most recent position, having those keywords in there as well. You want to have them there. And then another place that you can incorporate them is in your endorsements and skills. So as you scroll down your profile, you see that there's a skills section. You can have up to 50 skills on your profile, and those are all keyword based. What I encourage you not to do, or discourage you to do, is to include, like make up your own keywords. I've seen people do that, and those are not keywords what anybody's looking for. You need to put in keywords that are already in there. If you go to apply for a job on LinkedIn, you'll see that it has the keywords that they're looking for. If you click on that, you can add them right to your profile. So that's a really good way to quote unquote cheat, because it puts those keywords right in your profile. But that's another thing that if you're trying to optimize for too many things, it gets a little challenging because you're like, oh, I want to put all these keywords on here, and you can only have 50. And if you keep shifting them around a lot, that gets a little challenging. And especially if people end up doing the endorsement on you. So a lot, they used to do kind of a flyby endorsement. They just click buttons and endorse you. That makes it show up higher in your profile. You can move those around and put what you want up higher in your profile for your skills, but endorsements show that other people believe in you for the most part.
Awesome. We're going to also include your ebook in the email that's going out. So make sure when you're done speaking, you drop that in, the one you want us to include. And Donna will include that one as well. Donna just dropped in one from the Resume Writers Association. And I wanted to ask your opinion on open to work. So the banner, you briefly mentioned it, but one of the questions in here was, my employer can see this. So what are your thoughts around, do you include it or not? You know, especially people that are actively working right now.
Yeah, so that was one of the things that I was suggesting, that you don't want to put it up if you're currently employed and that your employer doesn't know you're looking. You don't want that ring around there. But you can turn on open to work. When you go in your profile, underneath your picture, it'll say open to, right? You click on open to, you put in open to work. In that new box that comes up, it'll say, how do you want to show this? To everybody publicly or just to recruiters? If you click just to recruiters, it will not give you that banner and no one will see it. So if you are currently employed and don't want to jeopardize your job, then that's how you should put it on. I can't go onto the profiles and see it unless I have a recruiter account. So a recruiter can see that you're open to work. If they pay for the recruiter access, they can see that. So the only challenge with that is if your company, so like Blue Signal is the company that owns Resume and Career Services. Blue Signal is a search firm. So if I put on open to work for recruiters and one of my recruiter friends goes and looks, they're going to see it, right? So then I'm stuck. That's the only time that could potentially work. LinkedIn does try to avoid having them be able to see your stuff, but there's no guarantee. So if you are, the real breakdown is if you're unemployed and or your employer knows that you're looking because you've been let go and you have, a 2-month severance or whatever, turn on your open to work banner. If you are currently employed and you don't want anyone to know at your company that you're looking, turn off your banner. But in both cases, turn on your open to work. That makes sense.
Yeah, awesome. Let's see. Oh, I would love your opinion on AI. So AI, there's some questions in here about using AI to build out a resume. I know this is not about resumes, but to build out a resume, but I know that's a major experience for you, but also creating your summary for LinkedIn, finding keywords. I would just love your, 1-minute overview of what your thoughts are on AI and how it can be helpful.
Yeah, 100%. So I am a writer. That's what I've been doing for the last 30 years. And it took me a little while to get over to AI, but I actually like AI now. I use it myself as a way to generate ideas and also to check things on the back end. So if I write something, you know how you look at things too many times, you throw it into AI, does this have any problems? Can you suggest any updates? And then it will. But what you can do as a job seeker, what I encourage you not to do is not to rely 100% on AI. So definitely review it. I see that way too often. People are like, oh, let me type in these parameters and then just copy and paste it. And it's not well done. And I have seen AI lie about resumes because I had a candidate who put in his resume, put in the job description, and it added a certification. And he sent it to me and I said, I don't see the certification on your resume. He goes, oh, AI must have added it. So you need to double check that stuff to make sure it's accurate. But it's a great way to be able to incorporate some information that you may not have thought about before. Put in a job description that you're interested in and ask it to write you and give it the parameters. I need a summary for LinkedIn that has 2,600, that's your limit, 2,600 characters. Base it on this, and then incorporate that. What I usually do on my about sections that I write for people and myself is I always include in something personal too, and AI can't do that. So leave a little space and put a little personal tidbit. Like in my introduction, it said that I like keto and Wonder Woman. That's all on my LinkedIn, because we are three-dimensional and people like to connect with people that they know something about. So let AI do a little bit of the work, and that is 100% okay, but big things, check it and make it personal.
Love it. Amanda, thank you so much for all of the information. Any last comments before we move on to our next speaker?
Well, I will be in the breakout session, and I have left this up here because I want you to reach out to me. If you have questions, I live for this. I love, love, love educating and supporting job seekers. So if I can help you in any way, please, please reach out to me.
Amanda, fantastic job. How about a virtual round of applause for Amanda and all her great content today. Thank you so very much. All right, you guys, we are going to move on to our next section. And so if you were on at the beginning of the call, let me just address a couple things. One, this webinar recording is being recorded, and it will you will get an email after the event today that will have the link directly to the recorded webinar. So if you need to go back and you want to work through LinkedIn based on what Amanda's teaching today, absolutely, please do that. And she would be, that's all available to you after the call. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time for the recording to process, so it might not be fully available until tomorrow morning, but you'll get the email today. And then also, you'll be able to connect with anyone that's speaking today. And then we have a whole bunch of resume writers, LinkedIn coaches, career coaches on the call right now that are available in the breakout session. So make sure that you stay after Robert speaks. We'll be going into the breakout sessions where you can ask your individual questions, and you can get help there. All right. So, and also in that email that we're sending later today, we are including the 2 ebooks, the one Donna Tucker dropped in, and then also the one that Amanda is talking about. So you'll get that in your email as well. All right, you guys, I would like to introduce you to Robert Garcia. He's going to take us into the next section about how to connect with trending industries. So he's a 4th-generation Arizona native from South Phoenix, and he's currently a resident of Goodyear. If you don't know, our program is based and housed in Phoenix, Arizona, which is why we get a lot of Phoenix support. And then we know people from all over the United States, and actually there are people from outside of the US that are on this call today. So we make the content available so everybody can utilize it. But Robert is a 4th-generation Arizona native, which is rare. If you're not from Arizona, you may not know that. That is pretty rare, very rare, actually. His education includes courses and training in the military, and also a bachelor's degree in business management. He has a graduate diploma in public policy and a master's in government policy and administration. He's a former active duty Marine gunnery sergeant, and his 22 years of service from 1989 to 2011 as a combat Marine. Robert's service includes deployment to Operations Desert Shield, Storm, the Compton riots, Operation Restore Hope, and many, many more. His civilian career includes experience at the Palo Verde Nuclear Generating Station, the City of Phoenix, Amazon Corp, and the state of Arizona. He was also a franchise business owner, so he has a depth and a breadth of experience, and he is also elected to serve on the West Meck District 5 School Board. He's been appointed by the Arizona governor to serve on the Arizona Civil Rights Advisory Board, and he supports the Workforce Arizona Council. So he has many volunteer programs that he supports, including veterans and business support. And he currently works as the Workforce Business Strategy Consultant for the Arizona Office of Economic Opportunity. He is a statewide workforce expert who provides counsel and guidance to companies and organizations. So Robert, we are so excited to have you here today. Please help me welcome Robert Garcia.
Yay. Thank you. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's see here. Oops, there it goes. So first, I want to thank Career Connectors for allowing me the ability to talk to everybody and to go over this great information. Hard act to follow. Amanda was really great. A lot of great information on the LinkedIn. Very important. I use it. I'm an avid LinkedIn individual as well. I'm getting all kinds of people involved and interested, so that's really neat. And that kind of ties into our trending industries. So in this presentation, we're going to talk a lot about how to actually connect these trending industries and what they are, a little bit of description of how we come up with what an industry is, and then a little bit of being able to look at those pathways to see whether or not it's going to be fitting for you as a career. So we're going to go over a couple of things: Arizona industries, emerging markets, partnership collaboration. We're going to talk about a pipeline. And I call it tea leaves because basically you're going to read all the different signs and signals of a company or an organization to decide whether or not you're going to be able to get into that field or industry, and then utilizing one of the many pathways that we have. Speaking specifically to Arizona, but now that I know there's a lot of people from other states, I can talk more broadly about resources you might have in your state. Again, Robert Garcia, really quick, been around a lot of places, a lot of workforce stuff. Very fun, really like the conversations and enjoy it. So I hear a lot from the companies, organizations, and from the job seekers as well. So let's talk about it, Arizona industry. So this is specific to Arizona. Good news for some of you that are not in Arizona. Arizona's hiring. So we want you to come out here if you can handle the heat a little bit. We got really great winters. Falls are okay. Springs are just like the falls. But we are a job seeker centric group here in Arizona. So it's a job seeker market right now. So you can basically come to Arizona, find an employer. They're practically begging for you to come in. And there's industries that are coming in as well that we haven't really publicly announced that are also going to want skills, talents, abilities from people like yourselves looking for work and to scale your current situation. So we look at markets basically in two different ways. One's an employer-based market. And what that means is those are the larger employers in Arizona, the largest employer. So in Arizona, if you're going to scale where you want to work, the largest need right now is in education and health services. We have a lot of clinics here, a lot of medical, and we have a lot of schools here as well, to include the universities, the high schools, the junior highs, the career technical education centers, the middle schools like the middle tech schools that we have here as well. They're not quite college, but they give you a credential to be able to go to get a good paying job. The second one, of course, is transportation. In Arizona, we have seen a big growth of our transportation industry and warehousing and utilities. Our utilities are actually changing, which has increased a lot of its workforce because we're kind of retooling from regular traditional power, coal, fuel, and nuclear to green. So that's created a couple of jobs and opportunities there as well. The second conversation that we have is, we term it as in-demand industries. And what an in-demand industry is, it's an industry that's been identified by the local regions, whether it's a county, a city, or a state, of what exactly is the most critical jobs and big employers that actually need people. So there's actually a formula that our workforce council works with, but to simplify it, it's those jobs that if they were to go out of business, you would definitely notice, and jobs and industries that we want to keep afloat. So if you're also looking at where you want to work as an industry, these are the fields that are really growing really fast. Now, bear in mind that some of these fields are not your future fields because there's a lot of things that are coming that we didn't expect, and there's a lot of industries that are emerging basically out of a concept right now that it's going to scale fairly quickly. But for right now, these are our in-demand industries. And you can see construction's a big one. Again, the healthcare, social assistance, professional, scientific, and technical services. That would include government. So it is fairly broad, fairly wide. Every state, by the way, has an in-demand industry list, and every state has a base employer list. We're all different. So some of those markets that we talk about, we tie into emerging markets. And these are markets that have come to Arizona and actually to the United States for the most part. And now they're starting to grow. They got their legs underneath them. They got a market. Most of these are global markets. They're not really local. So if you think about semiconductor, that's a global market because the products are sold everywhere throughout planet Earth. So if you see a vehicle, it has a chip, it has semiconductor. If you see someone with a watch, it has a chip, it has semiconductor. So these are global markets that actually are resilient to things or resistant to things like some of our economic woes that we may have as they climb and decline. The global market is more stable, then obviously these will be more stable employers. Cybersecurity is always a big one because it's constantly reinventing itself. Cyber criminals are very savvy, and which creates that field to have to retool, re-educate, new platforms, new ideas, new systems. So as that changes, credentials change. IT is a very broad discussion. Wearables, well, that's fairly new. I go way back in the days when you'd watch Star Trek and they talk on their watch. You're like, hey, that's cool. Well, we're all talking our watches now. So it's kind of unique, and it's those industries that are just growing and growing and growing. And where it's going to go tomorrow, we have no idea. We have NASA in Arizona that they have their mission to Mars and their mission to the moon. We got bits and pieces of that technology that's being built out and manufactured in Arizona. We have advanced battery tech, and that's also fairly new as well. And that kind of ties into advanced mining. But batteries with the electric cars and electric grids, and now they're talking about different electric semi trucks, and everything's going mobile in the battery world. You know, the power has to be developed and manufactured, and Arizona is becoming a very big part of that. So that industry itself is growing very fast. Autonomous vehicles, I can't say enough about these because it seems like everything's autonomous these days. Conversations about autonomous aircraft now is being out there and being discussed. So these are all markets that we kind of saw someday we might get into. Well, now they're here, and they're going to need a workforce to complement it. So in Arizona specifically, we have great needs. So if you want to come to Arizona, I'm going to keep saying this is the right place for you to be. We have a lot of jobs. So how do you get into these jobs? What is that connecting to trending industries? Well, we look at partnerships and collaboration. So our partnerships not just include the regular job seeker, but we look at diverse populations, veterans, workforce challenge, reentry youth, and we want to bring everybody to the table. So the workforce side of Arizona is a very active group. The Arizona Office of Economic Opportunity and our Workforce Council, they really look at making sure that everyone can have a seat at the table for a good paying job. And that's a quality job. Quality jobs basically start at 60 grand above per hour, and they could go as high as 100 grand. Right now, we have high school students making $60,000, $70,000 a year at our advanced manufacturing plants because of the market. So how do you get into these fields with these partnerships and collaboration? Well, we got community organizations. A big one would be Career Connectors. Career Connecting, they have a lot of they have a very, very good pipeline, a very solid pipeline that you can get yourself involved with. And they would also develop your career development to get you to those jobs. We have government organizations like myself, Department of Economic Security, which is our Arizona at Work model for the state. We have career technical education centers, which have a youth and a young adult program. So if you're under the age of 25, you can still use our CTE evening courses. Private organizations in Arizona are involved in some of these collaborations to get you these good paying jobs. We have nonprofits, we have the military, Chamber of Commerce. We have a whole slew of ecosystem in Arizona to help you really connect with those training industries. So this is what I call my noise slide. It's basically just a lot of things, but it actually does make a little bit of sense. At the very bottom, you'll see our Arizona State universities, which everything starts from the university academic level. I mean, you could even argue it starts in junior high, you can even start in middle school, high school. But going above that to a real job attainment, we have our universities, our community colleges, and our tech colleges that are not quite university or a community college. In the middle, you would have our CTEDs, which we have a lot of them, career technical education centers, for people that don't want to go to college, but would like just to get a credential to get a good paying job. At the very top, you have most, not all, not even close to all, but a good example of the big companies that are out there looking right now for people with talent, skills, and abilities, and developing those talent, skills, and abilities, utilizing some of those LinkedIn techniques that Amanda put out there of connecting with these industry leaders to be able to get these positions. So in order to get anything going, you got to develop your pipeline. And Amanda hit a lot on it, on utilizing LinkedIn, part of your strategy plan. But there's a very basic thing. It's a very personal thing that people would have to decide when they're ready to join the workforce. And I did see some things in the chat that people are rejoining the workforce, which is also pretty big because you really got to start from scratch. I'm sure some of you already feel the pressure of starting from scratch. But where is that starting point, and how do you do it? Well, you want to research what exactly it is you want to do. The worst thing ever, and I'll speak from a military perspective, is when they say, I'll do anything. Well, that's not necessarily true. They're not going to do anything. But in their mind, I just need a job. I need to go to work. I need to earn a paycheck. I just need to do something. And that's not always the answer. So research your need. What do you want to do? I mean, the world's your oyster in a lot of places, and you just want to be able to define what your career pathway is going to be. You want to develop a strategy based on those needs that you just found out. And a strategy could be, well, how are you going to go about getting to that position? I want to be a police officer. Well, then I need to go through a post-certification. Okay, so that's where I need to go. What is my strategy? Consider the target markets whenever you're looking at these big, broad pictures. Because if you don't really care so much for a specific field and you're still looking for where you want to plant yourself, think about the markets in our earlier conversation of the base industries and the in-demand industries. Those have security because they are growing. Most of them are very stable and they're not really going anywhere. So career pathways are much easier in those fields. They're very established in your states. You want to align yourself with these outcomes. You want to make sure that you have a good resume, you're utilizing LinkedIn, you're utilizing career connectors, you're utilizing all the resources on the collaboration page, and you're looking at everything that you can of who you need to talk to get to that outcome. And then review your strategy. So you did all these things, and this is what you want to do. And you've already talked to some people. You looked at what it takes to get the position that you want. You know, take a deep breath, take a step back and say, is this what I really want to do? Some of the things, a little bit of lessons learned from some of the previous employers. Some people do follow the money, and there's a lot of money right now in fields like semiconductor and advanced battery, but the working conditions may not be desirable by everybody. So if someone doesn't like repetitious work, they're probably not going to do very well in advanced manufacturing. But that's where you have to really sit back and understand what it is you're asking to do, what it is you're seeking to do. And that's where you would want to review your strategy. Source resources and contacts. And again, this is a career connector. They make it all happen for you. So they're going to give you those resources and contacts. But if you're not using an agency or an organization, you're going to have to do that yourself. And LinkedIn is a key partner of that and a resource you can utilize and champion to get those resources and contacts yourself. And with that, you would also be able to apply to jobs, do your resumes, and have a direct to hire type relationship. And then be agile. If something doesn't work out, know that nothing's perfect. And if it doesn't work out, that's okay. If you've done a lot of resumes, you did a lot of job fairs, they're not responding, that's kind of the market. And that's how things are done. So be patient, be agile, be able to move. If your career path isn't really what you want, then you shouldn't have to go all the way to the very basic to start again. Just kind of know where you were at the time that you decided that it was not what you wanted to do, and then just re-engage. And then be seen and participate. I can't speak to this enough. You got to get out there. You got to get out there either digitally by attending events, having your picture, by doing the LinkedIn, doing the Facebook, attending the job fairs, but also be out there at some of the mixers. A lot of organizations do mixers in the evenings. They do collaboration meetings. They do partnership meetings. They're trying to connect the dots for you. So show up and participate. It's okay. It's great. You might have a good time, and hopefully you get a really good career out of it. These are just some techniques that you find when you talk to job seekers and employers, things that they're trying to do to connect, which is really funny. And I'll tell you that in a second. This is the pipeline development for most companies. This is what they normally do. This is what your recruiters are looking at: the need, the partnership, recruitment, and review. So they're looking for you and you're looking for them. How do you connect the dots? And I think that a lot of what we see in our industries, we tend to think that it's very complicated. And when you think about it, it's really not. All it is connecting the dots. And that'll take us to our next one. So the tea leaves. How do you know a company is reputable? Some of the things that we're seeing across the country, in some states, are having a hard time because companies are going out of business. And we're seeing a lot of that in some states, which brings them to Arizona, because again, we have a lot of jobs. So come to Arizona. But so on a national scale, we do see companies that aren't really stable. So do your research, look at reports, look at articles, read the news, or hear the news, or YouTubes, or there's a lot of data out there, a lot of social media. Market data, discussions, observations. You would know who really is a good company in your area. Don't settle for just a job. You want a career that has a pathway to grow, to earn more money, to have the great hours, to give you the flexibility for you and your family and your personal interests, and to be able to provide you the livelihood that you want. So do all this research before you really take a risk with a company that you really aren't sure if they're going to be around next week or next year or next month. And this is how you do it. This is how you're basically going to do your research. I call it, more in the military speak, would be like an intelligence brief. You're collecting intel. You can do that, and you can even use some of the resources on LinkedIn and Facebook and even on X to be able to see what these companies are saying. What are the markets saying? Usually the markets from the U.S. Commerce groups will come out with more data before it even trickles down to the states. So sometimes reading DC information or information from states where the company is headquartered will give you more intelligence to tell you whether or not it would be something you might want to be interested in. That helps alleviate the risk. And then all this, all of a sudden, makes sense. So when you look at this now, you see a pathway, you know where the starting point is, the midpoint, you know where the employers are at. Just like what Amanda said, don't be afraid to make phone calls to do your research, to collect more data, more information. Don't be afraid to reach out to organizations like Career Connectors and get some advice. There's a lot of partnerships out there for you. You should not be left alone. You're not alone in this fight to find a good, meaningful career. If you're in Arizona, we have Arizona at Work, which is a big organization statewide, very strong, very active, and they can certainly help you out as well. If anything, I'll leave my information here as well. OEO is a small team, but we're mighty. We're led by Stacy Faulkner, who is our administrator. Krista, she's actually on this call. She's my partner in crime. And we do the best we can for the state of Arizona. So if you're ever here, or if you want to come here, let us know, and we'll do what we can to help you with your career development and your career search.
Robert, thank you so much for that great information. How about a round of applause for Robert? Yay!
Yay.
The virtual wave. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you being here today. And Robert will be available if you want to chat with him for a few minutes in the breakout sessions. All right, I want to give you guys some resources while we close it out, and then we're going to transition in to the breakouts we've been talking about all along here. Okay, so first of all, if you have any feedback about the event today, please feel free at any time to send us an email at contact@careerconnectors.org, or connect with us on LinkedIn, Instagram, or Facebook. We do respond and engage in conversations in all of our social media platforms as well. And usually the platforms, I'm usually the one responding. So I'd love to have a conversation with you out there. Again, we are doing a giveaway, $100 Amazon gift card giveaway on our Instagram account. And so join us out there, follow the Career Connectors Instagram account, and then you'll see the giveaway section or the post, just like that. And if you share it, because our purpose is to grow that account, then if you share it, then you get extra points to get involved in our giveaway. So we encourage you to do that. And October 10th is the deadline, and then we will be announcing the winner on October 11th. When you get your email later today, it will include a whole bunch of resources. It will include a DISC assessment, which is free. A DISC assessment, it just tells you a little bit about your behavioral style. It'll also include the link to all the webinar recordings. And so I was having conversations with some of you in the chat about previous recordings. We have a whole bunch of virtual hiring events that were recorded in the last 6 months. You can go out and watch any of those. And each webinar that's a hiring event has usually about 20 employers that are there from specific industries, and they are talking about their jobs, both in-person and remote opportunities. And so I encourage you to watch those. You also get the link to this particular webinar as well. And so you can connect with the hiring managers that are on those events. Sometimes it's recruiters, sometimes it's hiring managers. And I encourage you to do that all through LinkedIn after you watch the webinars. All right. Thank you so much to all of our partners that make this happen. We are so grateful for each of you and helping us run this program and make it available, not just in Arizona, but nationally now. I'd like to introduce you all to one of our awesome partners, Best Companies AZ. They are on the line today, and they are going to be in the breakout room. And this company is a small business, but they're the ones that give awards away to really great companies that are have fantastic cultures. They give away awards like Most Admired Companies in Arizona, and they work with clients that have won a whole bunch of Best Places awards. And so they're going to be in a breakout room. All these companies are represented. They have remote national positions with all of these organizations. And so if you want to talk to somebody who's actually looking to help hire today, the Best Companies AZ breakout room would be a great place for you to go. So thank you, Denise, Jenna, Carrie. We really love working with your team. And so you'll be able to talk to them today. A little bit on what's coming up in our world to continue serving. Now that you are on, you've registered for an event, you are on our distribution list. That means that you will be getting emails from us about weekly, maybe a little bit more, but those events or those emails are talking about the events that are coming up, and we encourage you to register for the ones you would like to join. So we have one coming up next Thursday, October 12th at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. This one is a hiring event, you guys. And so we're going to do a little bit of time at the front end where companies are going to talk about their DE&I initiatives, so diversity initiatives. And then what we're going to do is talk about all these companies are going to talk about the jobs that they have, their openings, and both remote and in-person opportunities.
Is Jessica on? I think she froze. So I'll finish. Jessica was talking about upcoming events. Diversity Talks is on October 12th. And then on Thursday, November 2nd, we have Tackling Career Obstacles, the Career Obstacle course, which is combating age, race, and gender. In addition, on Thursday, December 7th, we have our 2023 job landscape. This is a big event that Jessica does every year and really talking about navigating the future and forging your career path. So don't miss that as you're getting ready to step into 2024 if you haven't already landed the career of your dreams. So next slide, please, Bree. So I just want a special thank you to all of the people that have volunteered. We couldn't do it without you. We have Kathleen and Lisa on Zoom support, Resume Writers, Coaching Association. Thank you. You all are tremendous. And of course, our incredible coaches that you will get to meet in the breakout rooms. So we are almost there. Next slide, please. Should you want to volunteer, we've had a couple of you ask in the chat, hey, we'd like to volunteer. There's different places. Career Connectors is always open to volunteers. You can go to our volunteer page. We'd love to work with you. And to that same regard, we are a 501c3 nonprofit, as Jessica mentioned. So we are funded by grants and funders. And private donors. So if you are ever interested or know anyone who would be interested in donating, you can donate to Career Connectors. And moving on to the next slide, we just thank you for being here. We know how challenging the job search can be. Don't go anywhere because breakouts are coming. But we do want to make sure that you know that you are not alone in this journey. We have walked, all of us on this team have walked being unemployed. We understand the hope, we understand the connection, and we understand that sometimes the journey can get long and discouraging, but stay with it, keep networking, keep leaning in, and keep connecting with people. And so thanks again to all of our speakers. And Bree, I'm going to turn it over to you to breakout rooms.